Welcome to TorGod, where you can learn to play Star Wars The Old Republic like a god. After you've downloaded and installed the game and picked your server, your next choice is going to be to pick your allegiance. You can choose to defend the Galactic Republic or fight for the Sith Empire. The choice is yours. Here we have the Republic class selection screen. You can choose Jedi Knight, Jedi Consular, Smuggler, or Trooper. On the Sith side, you can choose Sith Warrior, Sith Inquisitor, Bounty Hunter, or Imperial Agent. Here I have a nice little reference guide with the 8 classes split up among the two sides, Republic and Sith. You'll notice I have arrows joining them. That is because, for example, the Jedi Knight and the Sith Warrior are mirror classes, which means that they're going to get the same abilities under different names, they're going to get the same type of talents, they're going to get the same different specs, they can do the same things, tank and DPS. They mirror these classes so that one side doesn't have an advantage over the other. You'll also notice there's a lot of variation on which ones can tank and heal, which are normally hard to find in MMOs. In this case, a lot of classes can do both of those, and so it should make it easier to find a nice party matchup with tank, heal, and DPS. When you first get into the game, I'd highly recommend going into Preferences and enabling Auto Loot and Area Loot. Area Loot is great, it lets you loot lots of mobs all at one time, one click. Another thing you'll notice when you first get into the game is you have 6 abilities currently on your bar. The left 3 in 1, 2, and 3 spots, those are your first 3 attack abilities, which you'll have different abilities for different classes. Then you have your right 3, which are going to be kind of similar for all the different classes. The first of those 3 is a buff, as you just saw me cast. The middle one is your Hearth, which we'll get back to later. And the far right ability is, in this case, called Seethe. It is your out-of-combat heal. When you need a quick heal in between pulls, hit that a few seconds later and you're topped off, both health and mana. Now these green doors here, these are your instance entrances and exits. You're going to be seeing them all over the place for all of your class quests and all your group quests. They allow you to go in just by yourself or with your group mates, and you are dealing with the mobs for your quest. That way you don't have to wait in line for a name that you're trying to kill and 10 other Sith Inquisitors there trying to kill it too. It's just you going in there. When you go through it, you're going to see it's going to turn red because you can't come back anymore because I've finished this instance. Here's a quick look of what a quest giver looks like in Star Wars The Old Republic. You'll notice the triangle shape above his head. When you have a completed quest, that will be filled in with green. Here's another quest giver, and then on the wall we see a little console. Whenever you see these in the game, you're going to want to click on them. These are how you get your bind points. And again, I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail later. Also outside, depending on which starting zone you're at, you may come across a little taxi provider. You want to click on all those as well. Those are your flight. Here's another example of getting a bind point, this time on Korriban. And I'll show you whenever you have bind points, and then you click the Hearth button, which I pointed out earlier, you'll see it brings up a map. Now at this point on this character, I've only explored enough that I'm going to have 1 bind point so far. But eventually you'll have a bunch of bind points all over the map, and every time you Hearth, you can go to any one of them. So instead of only having Hearth at one in WoW, you can go to any one of them each time you cast Hearth. It makes getting around a lot easier. Also on the upper right hand corner of your screen, you're going to see your quest tracking, just like it has in WoW. And if you click on it and open up your map, you're going to actually see the area located for your quest on the map. The neat thing is here that if your quest is inside, and you click on the little arrow there, it actually takes you to the map inside the dungeon. And you can click on it again to find the next level in the dungeon, and then finally see exactly where your quest objective is going to be. So the map really helps you get around and find. When I go down this hill here, you'll see on top of the screen I get a new codex entry. This is, just exploring around the area. You get Explorer XP. But this codex will also keep track of all the different places you find as well as achievements. The next thing we're going to look at is, you'll notice I only have 1 quest right now, but if I go over here and kill one of these mobs, once I do that, I get a bonus quest. And a lot of places throughout the whole world, as you're going through and killing mobs, you're going to get additional bonus quests to kill more of them. Usually it's nice free XP for what you're doing. Also, when you kill some certain mobs, you will get a codex entry for them and more free XP. So you want to kill mobs of all different types as you come across them. Now I've fast forwarded a bit to the end of this first planet here. You see I have my companion. You'll get those around level 8 or 9. It depends on how fast you go through your class quests and whether or not you skip any side quests. And then we finally get to go off the planet here. So when we go off the planet, we're going to be going on to the Imperial Fleet. Nice little cutscene here. And the Imperial Fleet, or the Republic Fleet, depending on which side you're at, will be where you'll get a lot of important things. I went ahead and got level 10 before I got here, which you should all do as long as you don't skip too much. When you're at level 10, you're going to be able to pick up your advanced class choice. This is where you pick either, say, in Sith Inquisitor, you can go Assassin or Sorcerer, and likewise. So I'll finish the quest for getting onto the fleet. The first thing you'll see, however, though, is another ship where you came from the other starter planet. On the right over here is going to be the quest giver for your first dungeon. You're going to want to pick that up. You likely want to do that. See, everyone has their chem vols out. Also on here we will find the class trainer, so you can pick your advanced class specialization. Then you're going to see your trainer and get your skills. They also have the crew skills trainers. These are your professions, so if you wanted to get, synth weaving, it's kind of like tailoring in WoW. There's lots of different professions, and I'll have a separate video about those later. It's kind of a lot of stuff to talk about. Here we have getting the quest for Black Talon. That is the first Imperial dungeon. Now when I'm going to go downstairs, you'll see I'll be able to pick up the quest for getting my advanced class since I'm level 10. It's an NPC right out when you come downstairs in the elevator. And there's also a little terminal which will give you a couple other quests. One to get a profession skill, your crew skills, what they call them. And the other is to start getting social points. You gain social points whenever you're in a group and you make a conversation choice. And you can build up those, and those allow you to buy special cosmetic items as well. And there's a little quest here to be able to do that. Now let me bring up the mini-map. You'll see the different areas we have here. We have the crew skills area. We have the combat training area. That's where your class trainers are. We have the Galactic Trade Network, so you can find things out. At the north, you'll see a little point there. That's where the dungeon quest we have to go is. And on the west, if you saw it very quickly there, that's where your later dungeons are going to be. They all are up in that point. It's just your first dungeon is in the north. Here I'm talking to my class trainer, and I'm going to be able to decide which advanced class I want. After you get through the conversation, notice that your conversation choice doesn't actually matter. So you can pick whatever you want for your choice here. But what really matters is when the window comes up, you get to pick your advanced class. That's your choice that you can't go back from. So you'll see I'm going to get my little choice here in a second. You can quickly accept the quest over there, get your XP. On the left side, you can look at the talent trees, the description, etc. to see which one you want. And once you pick the one you want, you're going to go ahead and click accept there, and that's your final choice. They said they may add in changing your advanced class at some point, but right now it's not in the game, and you don't want to make the wrong choice here. It's a big deal. For example, if you pick one, you can tank. If you pick one, you can heal. So whichever role you're going for, you need to make a choice. Also notice that the two different advanced classes will actually have different trees, different abilities in there. Here's my trainer over here. You see the little half triangle, and on the bottom is a plus. That means there are skills I can learn, so I can go ahead and learn them real quick. Now on the bottom you notice it says Sorcerer. Once you've picked your advanced class, you need to go down there and click that, otherwise you won't be training all of your abilities. You need to have them all there. Here I am going to pick up the PvP daily to win a battleground. And that's another thing, once you've hit level 10, you can start queuing for them. That's going to be in the lower right hand corner of your screen on the lower right part of the mini-map. Open that up, you can queue either solo or with your group. Right now we have 3 different types of BGs you can run in, and in my experience they're a lot of fun. You should try them out. Here I'm going to be heading up to the first dungeon area so you can see how that is. You'll notice I said earlier that the first dungeon is going to be in the north elevator from the main floor here, and the second and later dungeons are all going to be in the west one. It's just this first dungeon to kind of get you used to the idea. They put it separate. You also will have a choice when you get up here. You can either get onto the dungeon and have that take you to your next planet once you finish the dungeon, or you can just take a safe shuttle, which means skip the dungeon and go straight to your next planet. If you read the actual dialogue, the idea is that you need to go to your next planet to meet your new master, or whatever your exact story situation is, and you need to get there one way or the other, either the fast way, which involves taking the dungeon, or the safe way over here. Okay. Hopefully that's enough information for you to get started on this week when Star Wars: Old Republic comes out. And if you have any further questions, feel free to let me know. I plan to make more videos, let you know more information. But for now, goodbye.